Hi, my name is RoselineBatcha, and I'm presenting my project on a mobile web map application that visualizes the migrant movements of Africans in and out of Africa between the years 1990 to 2017. This application is designed to illustrate how far and wide African migrants, both tertiary and non-tertiary workers, migrate across the world, most especially the movements to European countries and to the Americas. The movements so far have been termed the brain drain dilemma and is a huge concern. So this application presents, a web map, interactive web map that you can see the flow in bubbles from, kind of traffic from one location to the other. It also gives you very rich literature and graphics that cues you into understanding the African migrant story and also brings to light the urgent challenge of turning the brain drain to brain gain. In demonstrating or giving you a feel and of how this application functions, I'm going to launch this application from brackets where I did generate and put together the code. So in launching this application from brackets, I launch it and will give it some time for it to display. The application is now displayed. It takes us to the home page. If you click on the logo, it keeps you on that home page. The home page gives you, it has some rich graphics that gives you an idea of the African migration story. You can find people queuing online to get immigration papers. You can find tertiary and non-tertiary workers. And this homepage also has some links that gives you more insight into the African migration story. For example, if you click on this link introduction, it's going to take you to a section of this application that tells you what this application is all about and gives you why the developer decided to develop this application. If you click on the New Age African Migration Map, it takes you to an interactive web map interface where you can zoom in and zoom out of this application. You can also navigate in and out migration flows. For example, the year 2017, if you click out, you can find the African migrants, how they migrated out of Africa. Here you can find these red bubbles flowing to other parts of Africa. If you also click here, you find the same kind of effect. You can now find, the proportions of the bubbles increase. You find these African migrants moving to different areas of the world. For example, if you also do inflow of migrants, for example, you want to find out how the African migrants flowed into other areas of the world. For example, if you click on the Americas, you can find these bubbles, of migrants flowing into America from other parts of the world. And comparatively, you can see and give and it will give you an idea of African migrants into America and migrants from other sections of the world into America. If you also click into this area, that is Germany, you can also find migrants moving into Germany during the periods of 2017, 2018. This application also gives us the possibility of having an interactive chart in Notary that gives us the flow of African migrants out of Africa and into other parts of the world. With this African Notary, interactive Notary, if you click somewhere here, it's going to take all the links out, and if you click on it, it will give you this flow out from Africa to other parts of the world. If you click on Africa, you will find all the different African countries. And if you hover over them, it's going to give you the number of Africans who left these countries between 1990 to 2017. If you click North America, for example, it's going to give you the total number of people arrivals into North America. That goes same for other areas of the world. So you can have an idea of Africans arriving these areas between 1990 to 2017. This application is also gives us the possibility of getting real stories and insights and facts. For example, if you click on this link, it takes you to the real stories and hard facts section, where when you click on any of these links, for example, the African brain drain effect, you can read this rich literature to get an understanding of the African brain drain effect. And you can also look at the pictures, so you have you cue in yourself into the story. That goes same for, case studies and examples of tertiary students or doctors migrating abroad and the effect it has on the African continent. You also have the frequently asked section, where I intend or somewhat think that users may have certain questions that may, you know, come into their minds about the African migration story. And if they click on any of these links, if these questions are some of the things they are, bothered about or have concerns on, they can read some more and have a better insight. This project also gives us the possibility of contacting the users, so the developers, so that we can take this campaign to another level to help, give Africans and the rest of the world the African migration story, and also be able to turn this brain drain to brain gain. So if you feel inclined or you think this is something you want to do, please contact me on Twitter or send me an email, and I'll get back to you and we'll see how we can take this campaign to another level. This application also has an about this project section that also captivates you with rich graphics on the African migration story. It also tells you who is behind the scene, the developer, the intentions of the developer in developing this application. It also tells you copyright, gives you copyright information and how you can use and reuse this code because it's open source. It also tells you how the data and these maps were generated. It also helps the user that, if you land on this page and you think you want to know more, get some hard facts about the African migration story. For example, those seeking greener pastures, you can read some rich literature and get some stories, real stories from and testimonies from people who have migrated back into Africa from Europe and America and how they are making it good. And it also has references where you can refer other literature sources and get a better insight on the African migration story. This application as well gives us the possibility of exiting this application. And the intention of the developer is that if you exit this application, it takes you to my GitHub, where you can also find rich data visuals and interactive visuals on the African story, conflicts in Africa, migrant remittances, some of the problems and challenges Africa is facing. And then you can go back to your application, contact me if you think you need us to scale up this project. If you think you have a contribution to make on how I can improve on this project, I'll be glad to get back to you and to work with you. Thank you. This is my application.